The space station hung in the dark like a silver blossom, its petals outstretched across the stars, Nexus Prime, the so-called heart of galactic diplomacy. It had no allegiance. No ideology. Just gravity, steel, and the ancient agreement that no species would draw a weapon here. But today was different. Today, a human came bearing peace. Aboard the presidential vessel Unity, Earth's first planetary leader, President Catherine Bell stood at the viewing window, her reflection superimposed over the swirl of starlight. 52 years old. Gray hair. Kind eyes. A quiet presence that carried the weight of an entire species. For 10 years, she had led a fractured Earth towards something almost mythical, unity. And now, she came to offer that same spirit to the stars. "Are you nervous, Madam President?" asked Commander Jake Morrison, her head of security. A tall man, lean, eyes sharp and alert. 20 years in military service. A record without a single loss. A man trained to anticipate danger, even when it wore the mask of diplomacy. Catherine smiled. Just a little. A bit. But peace doesn't wait for comfort. If we do this right, Jake, our children will inherit a galaxy where fear is no longer necessary. Jake nodded, hand brushing near his weapon. He trusted no one. Especially not here. The Galactic Council had courted Earth for years, but lately, things had shifted. Subtle changes. Edges where there used to be warmth. Was it fear? Earth's colonies were expanding rapidly. Human technology was outpacing projections. Perhaps some of the older civilizations were beginning to see what Jake already suspected: humanity wasn't just joining the future. It was becoming it. The ship docked with a soft metallic kiss. Pressure equalized. Catherine adjusted the lapel of her ocean blue suit, briefcase in hand, the one containing the treaties she'd labored over for 2 years. Words crafted in hope. Terms shaped in dreams. The airlock hissed. And there stood Ambassador Zth Ka, of the Zetherian Empire. 8 feet tall. Violet skin. 4 arms. Eyes like polished amber set in a mask of calm. President Bell, Zth Ka said in flawless English. His voice shimmered like music, but his stare was distant ice. "Welcome to Nexus Prime. The Council awaits." "I come in peace," Catherine replied, offering a hand. "May this be the beginning of something better, for all of us." They walked through silent, humming corridors. Jake stayed close. Too close. The alien bystanders who watched them pass bore varied expressions: curiosity, tension, and in some, unmistakable fear. Or was it guilt? The meeting room loomed vast, ringed with 12 seats, each occupied by a species older than Earth's written history. The crystalline collective, refracting light with every movement. The gas beings, encased in biosuits like drifting clouds of color. The machine lords, all gleaming limbs and language reduced to pulses of sound. Catherine took her seat across from Chancellor Vexmore, the Zetherian leader. Larger than Zth Ka. Older. Colder. "We welcome Earth," Vexmore said, "but we must speak plainly." Catherine opened her briefcase with deliberate calm. "Here are the peace treaties. We've come to share knowledge, not conflict. Earth is ready to become a peaceful member of the galactic community." But something passed between the aliens. A moment of hesitation. A glance here, a flicker there. Signals too ancient for humans to read. Finally, Vexmore leaned forward. "We have observed your species closely," he said. "You adapt. You build. You spread across systems like fire in dry leaves. We explore because we wonder," Catherine said gently. "We build because we believe life can always be improved. We are not a threat." "Are you not?" said another. "Tentacled, elegant, ancient. Your ships outpace ours." Your weapons surpass ours. You have no empires, yet. But your colonies rival ones we've nurtured for millennia. Jake's muscles tensed. Catherine didn't blink. We've never attacked another species. We share what we discover. We're here to be friends. That, said Vexmore, is the problem. The room fell still. You're too good, he said. Too fast. Too united. In 50 years, you will surpass us all. And when that happens, the balance will shatter. We cannot allow that. Catherine's heartbeat pounded in her ears. What are you saying? That you must be stopped, Vexmore said. Not your people. Just you. Jake moved. Too late. The lights failed, darkness fell like a guillotine, and then the room exploded in violence. Bolts of energy lit the dark. Screams. Sparks. The scent of ozone and blood. Jake reached for Catherine. A shot hit his chest. He was airborne, then on the floor, ribs screaming. When the lights returned, the world was changed. Catherine Bell lay motionless, a pool of blood beneath her. Her blue suit torn, the briefcase split open like a broken promise. Jake crawled to her, pain second to instinct. Her eyes found his. Jake, she whispered. Tell them, he leaned close. Tell them, this is not the end. Humans don't forgive. Humans don't forget. You're going to be okay, he said, the lie tearing his throat. No. I'm not. But promise me, she coughed blood, promise me, they'll pay for this. I promise. And then she was gone. President Catherine Bell, peacemaker, dreamer, mother of humanity's future, died in the arms of the only man who could still protect her memory. Chancellor Vexmore stepped forward. Broadcast it, he said coldly. Let the galaxy see what happens when a species overreaches. But Jake Morrison, bleeding on the floor, looked up with something deeper than rage. You don't understand humans, he whispered. You just killed the only one who could have saved you. And for the first time, the Chancellor took a step back. Because in Jake's eyes was something older than war. Memory. What would you do if humanity's last chance at peace was taken away like this? Let me know in the comments. And if you're drawn to stories that explore the soul of humanity in a vast, indifferent cosmos, subscribe for more calm, thought-provoking sci-fi. The image of Catherine Bell's lifeless body spread across the stars faster than any fleet. Within 4 hours, every human colony, on every world, had seen it. Every citizen of Earth, from orbiting engineers to children in classroom domes, watched the silent footage, her blood pooling on Nexus Prime's cold floor, the alien leader standing above her like gods passing judgment on mortals. But they had misjudged something fundamental. They thought killing a leader would break us. In truth, they'd only awaken something ancient in the human genome, the memory of every betrayal, every rebellion, every time a people rose from ruin. In Washington, D.C., deep beneath the Earth's surface, Vice President Daniel Cross stared at the broadcast on loop. The man had been known for his quiet diligence, his academic calm. But today, something in him shifted. Catherine Bell had been more than a leader. She had been his friend. His compass. His hope for humanity's place in the stars. Now, she was a martyr. Sir, said Admiral Ryan Cole, stepping into the emergency command center, we have full confirmation. Commander Morrison survived. He's being brought home. But, she's gone. Daniel said nothing at first. Just nodded. The room was filled with the low murmur of strategy. Holograms flickered with data streams, planetary alerts, emergency protocols. How many more died? Daniel asked. Only her, Cole said. They wanted it that way. Symbolic. Dar. Lisa Park, head of Earth's Defense Sciences, spoke up from across the room. We've analyzed their technology. Their strength lies in appearance, not reality. They've been at peace for so long, they've forgotten how to bleed. And we haven't, said General Pete Watson. A scarred man forged in the chaos of early colony wars. Every human alive has war in their bones. We've been fighting ourselves for 10,000 years. We didn't evolve for comfort. We evolved for pressure. Daniel sat in the president's chair. It felt heavy. Wrong. It still belonged to Catherine. But that version of Earth, the hopeful one, was already gone. What are our capabilities? He asked. Lisa pulled up a glowing schematic of Earth's fleet. Our colony ships can be retrofitted. 6 months. Maybe less if we push. They wanted to delay our rise, but they've handed us the perfect excuse to accelerate it. Watson nodded. 50 million reservists. I can have them trained within a year. Faster if we stop pretending we're not at war. Cole, the seasoned admiral, narrowed his eyes. They want us to surrender. They think we'll collapse without her. Daniel looked at him, calm but steady. Get me Commander Morrison. The screen flickered, revealing Jake Morrison aboard a medical transport, bandaged and bruised, but very much alive. Commander, Daniel said, we need the truth. What happened in that room? Jake's voice came low, broken, but steady. It was never a peace meeting. It was an execution. They planned it. Every move. Every word. They wanted to send a message. And do you think it will work? Daniel asked. Jake's expression turned into something harder than anger, clarity. No, sir. They think we'll break without her. But humans don't break. We bend. And then we snap back, harder. The screen went quiet. In that silence, a decision was made, not with shouting, not with war drums, but with memory. The weight of it. The promise. Humanity would not surrender. 6 months passed. Earth transformed. Factories that once built hovercars and terraforming machines were repurposed into weapons production centers. Shipyards that dreamed of colonizing distant moons now constructed Vengeance-class warships, each named after fallen diplomats, scientists, and colonists, symbols of peace, now reforged for war. In orbit, the first new fleet took shape, the Retribution, the Bell, the Last Word. Dar. Lisa Park oversaw the weapons program. She hadn't slept more than 3 hours a night since the assassination. Where once her lab invented medical nanites, now it refined plasma cannons designed to pierce Cytherian shields. She looked at a new prototype with quiet satisfaction. Show me. Dr. Ben Carter, her young assistant, activated the weapon on a virtual display. We reverse-engineered their shield tech. Ours cuts through it like light through glass. 3 times faster. 10 times the damage. Lisa nodded. And the bioscanners? Live testing begins tomorrow. Species identification at interstellar range. No more surprises. Meanwhile, in low orbit over Luna Base, Admiral Ryan Cole watched the human fleet being born. He had once stood proudly on ceremonial decks during peaceful missions. Now, he watched machines birth warships from raw metal and memory. On board the Retribution, Captain Steve Murphy stepped onto the bridge. Status? All systems green, said Lieutenant Amy Brooks. Dr. Park's cannons are online. Smart warheads are ready. These aren't just weapons. They think. They adapt. Steve nodded grimly. The aliens thought we'd fight with rules. They're about to learn, we don't fight fair. We fight to win. And in a room with no windows, Agent Claire Foster listened to the galaxy. She wasn't a soldier. Not in the traditional sense. But her war was colder. Quieter. And perhaps more devastating. Director Hayes, she said, we've broken into their galactic network. Everything they say, we hear. Everything they plan, we see. What are they saying? Asked the director. Claire turned her screen. They're scared. 3 species are trying to leave the council. No one trusts each other anymore. They know we're building a fleet, but they don't know how large, how fast, or how angry. She looked at her data. Fear is a weapon too. And at the center of it all was Jake Morrison. No longer a bodyguard. No longer just a commander. He had become something else. A symbol. A hunter. And he had one message to deliver. Operation First Strike is ready, he told Daniel over secure line. We've located the assassins. The same ones who murdered her. They're still on Nexus Prime. They think it's still neutral ground. Daniel hesitated. If we do this, there's no going back. Jake's voice was cold. They went too far the moment they made her bleed. 3 days later, Captain Murphy's fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Kepler Station, a lightly defended council outpost known more for trade than war. It was the perfect message. We're being scanned, Brooks said. Let them look, Murphy replied. I want them to see what we've become. A garbled message came through, unidentified Earth vessels, you are in violation. Murphy opened a public channel. This is Captain Steve Murphy of the Earth Defense Fleet. 6 months ago, the Galactic Council murdered President Catherine Bell during a peace summit. Today, we begin collecting the debt. The station's alien commander sputtered. You're supposed to be surrendering. The council said, the council was wrong, Murphy said. Retribution, open fire. The battle lasted 6 hours. When it was over, Kepler Station was a silent cloud of ruin. The human fleet stood untouched. But the real weapon wasn't plasma. It was the broadcast. This attack is dedicated to the memory of President Catherine Bell. She came to you in peace. You answered with betrayal. Now, you will know the price of hurting our family. What do you think humanity owes to its dead? Is peace still possible after betrayal this deep? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more introspective, high-concept sci-fi, consider subscribing. We explore not just alien worlds, but the alien within us. Kepler Station had been the beginning. A whisper of what was coming. A whisper loud enough to shake the stars. Across the galaxy, the footage of Earth's retaliation was replayed again and again. Alien leaders watched in stunned silence as the mighty Galactic Council, rulers of 1,000 species, was humbled by the very species they had tried to cut down before it could bloom. They had gambled on human fragility. They had forgotten that humans don't shatter. They sharpen. And now, a storm was building. Not of sound, but of silence, the kind that comes before impact. On Earth, President Daniel Cross stood at the edge of a new era. Reports streamed in by the hour. Dr. Park, he asked, how long until the fleet is fully operational? 3 more months, she replied. Our shipyards are producing warships faster than we ever dreamed possible. Each one faster, stronger, more adaptable than the last. General Watson. Daniel turned. Over 100 million volunteers, sir, the general said. We've stopped calling them recruits. They're not fighting for Earth. They're fighting for memory. Daniel nodded. And the people? They're not celebrating, General Watson said quietly. They're grieving with a sword in their hands. 6 months after Kepler, the galaxy was burning. Human fleets moved like shadows across star lanes, silent, coordinated, relentless. Each system they reached carried a message, for President Bell. Captain Steve Murphy's retribution had become a symbol. World after world surrendered at the mere sight of it. Not because of the weapons it carried, but because of the name engraved on its hull. We are receiving a surrender signal from Zephyra 4, said Lieutenant Brooks. The governor wants to discuss terms. Steve looked down at the purple-hued planet, the homeworld of the species that had planned the assassination. Terms are simple, he said. Complete disarmament. War crimes tribunals. And public acknowledgement of their role in Bell's murder. What about the civilians? They'll be protected. Better than they protected her. He turned away. But they will never again threaten humanity. On the other side of the galaxy, General Pete Watson was deep beneath the crystalline cities of the collective. The crystalline, once revered for their grace and logic, had crumbled beneath human resolve. The last bunker has fallen, reported Colonel Johnson. The commander wants to surrender directly. Pete stepped into the gleaming cavern. The alien leader shimmered like a living diamond. It bowed slightly. Your species fights like no others we've seen. We did not expect such savagery. You murdered our president, Watson said. What did you expect? Flowers? We thought humanity would seek compromise. You never understood us, Pete replied. We are not seeking war. We're delivering justice. Back on Earth, Agent Claire Foster was winning a quieter war. The war of systems and secrets. Director Hayes, she said, we've intercepted the final encrypted logs from Nexus Prime. We have names. Locations. The assassins, he asked. They're still there. Thought the station was neutral. It isn't anymore. Commander Jake Morrison received the coordinates that night. It took him 2 days. He and his strike team hit Nexus Prime like ghosts. No speeches. No drama. Just action. The same chamber where Catherine Bell had fallen became the grave of the 3 who'd made it happen. Jake stood over them. You didn't just kill a leader, he whispered. You wrote your own extinction. But the war was not won in shadows. It was won in the open, where human steel met alien pride. The Zephyrian Empire, shamed by loss after loss, gathered their full military force at Vega, a last stand. 3,000 ships, drawn from every remaining corner of their space. Admiral Ryan Cole faced them with 800 Earth vessels. Do we stand down? One captain asked. No, Cole said. We advance. The Battle of Vega lasted 12 hours. When it ended, the Zephyrian fleet was gone. Wiped from the stars. Earth lost 37 ships. The galaxy had no more illusions. President Cross stood at the edge of something impossible, total victory. He stared at the Bell device, the weapon Lisa Park had created. It could erase planets in minutes. A final deterrent. Do we need it? He asked her. She looked at the battle reports. No. Not anymore. Our message has already been written in fire and silence. Then lock it away, he said. We didn't conquer the galaxy to become monsters. The last holdout surrendered within months. Zephyrian temples burned their war flags. Machine lords rewrote their core protocols to serve human governance. The Galactic Council, the once unchallenged ruling body, became a memory. Its capital was renamed New Washington. Earth's flag flew where the 12 alien banners once waved. And then came the question that haunted every corridor of the new galactic order, what now? Inside the old council chamber, President Cross met with the last surviving members of the council. Broken, weary, afraid. Chancellor Vexmore, the one who had ordered Catherine's assassination, could barely stand. We surrender completely, he said. Please, our civilians had no part in this. You're right, Daniel said. They didn't choose war. You did. You chose to murder a woman who offered you peace. You chose to underestimate what humanity becomes when we are in mourning. Another counselor, an ancient crystalline being, spoke, voice brittle. We thought your species would collapse. Instead, you unified like no other before you. Daniel nodded slowly. You taught us that hope without strength is a target. Now, we carry both. He gestured to the bell device. This weapon could wipe you from existence. But we are not here for genocide. We're here for balance. Dr. Park locked the device in a secure vault. You will live, Daniel continued. Under the Bell Accords. From this day forward, there would be no more Galactic Council. No more unchecked alien empires. Each species would live under the protection of a united galactic order. A human federation, forged not by hunger, but by memory. Each alien world would govern itself, but with human oversight. Peace would be kept not through ideals, but through consequence. What should we call this new order? Admiral Cole asked. Daniel looked out the window at the alien city below. Human ships patrolled its skies. Children from 12 species played in the streets beneath their watch. Call it the Bell Accords, he said. Because peace must be protected by those who remember why it matters. Commander Morrison stepped forward. Do you think she'd approve of this? Daniel was silent. She would have hated the war, he said. But she would have understood the necessity. She gave them a chance to be our friends. They chose otherwise. He looked down at the city. Now they live in a world shaped by her absence. Years passed. The galaxy knew no war. No empire rose again. No council dared speak without Earth's ear. Peace reigned, but it was a peace earned. And enforced. In classrooms from New Washington to the edge of the Orion Rift, alien children learned about President Catherine Bell. They learned of a woman who came with open hands and was struck down for her kindness. They learned that humans do not forgive easily, but they never forget. They learned that you can try to silence a people's voice. But when that people carries memory in their bones, you will never silence their echo. What does justice look like in a universe of betrayal? Did humanity go too far, or not far enough? Comment below. Let's talk about vengeance, legacy, and what kind of galaxy we want to build. And if this story stirred something in you, subscribe for more slow-burning, philosophical science fiction. Because memory matters. And some stories refuse to be forgotten.